Hello and welcome back to We Prepare. We're talking tonight a little bit about the phone book toolkit. It's been said that emergency managers are subject matter experts on subject matter experts, and it's knowing who to call, when to call, how to call them, etc. That really is kind of one of our superpowers. And so with this toolkit, we're taking that Rolodex and expanding it across the jurisdiction, region, state, etc. To really make a list of who are those critical folks. You can kind of see what's going on here, and then we'll also talk later on about turning that into a physical map. So like all of them, we're going to do the blue button here to file, make a copy, and then we want to keep comments. In this case, when you come here, file, make a copy, you can save it as whatever you want to call it, wherever you want it to be at. You can select that right there, somewhere in your Google Drive, copy comments, and then make a copy. In this case, we're not going to make a copy because we're just going to use this one tonight. When we look here, what we're doing, same idea. It's got instructions a little bit, and it's got, again, some of those data captures, maintenance data for roll-up instructions. We'll talk through all those sort of things as we go through, and then it's got the table of contents down here. So as you kind of look through, much like all of the other tools we put out there, there's a data entry / cover sheet, and we went through, you can kind of put in, read through some of this. We've got categories in here for your information. These can be changed up a little bit, right? So this might be county, road, and bridge if you're doing this at the county level, or it may be at the state, transportation in general, whatever it may be. Each tab, each category can hold up to 75 records. So this phone book essentially can have 4,275 records. What you can do, we've organized this at the state, is we went through and said which ones are kind of duty officer or emergency, and we made those red so they're easy to find in all the different tabs. We also then can come in here and say that, hey, the 911 PSAPs, that's going to be so-and-so person is going to be in charge of that, and their email, so we can kind of poke them periodically to say, hey, you need to update this. If you want to do drop-down customization, just like our other toolkits, scroll down on the data entry tab, and we can then change out the information. So water and waste water to catch us up to our newest Lifeline change there. We can change our region names, ESF, RSFs. We put counties in here, and then again, these categories are essentially this list right here. So you don't end up with super long real estate kind of stuff. Some of these are abbreviated, right? Information technology becomes IT. So when you type that in up here, those show up down here, right? They're referencing back up. If you've got useful links, we can load them right here. Again, it may be that you've got things that are, again, useful in kind of that contact Rolodex that might be handy, and you can kind of paste those in right here. Once we come down here and look at whatever particular tab, let's look at access and functional needs. When you come into any one of these tabs, they all look fairly similar. It's got the kind of header bar across the top. All the rows, all the information we're gathering mirrors up. And so left to right, you know what bucket we're in. This whole page is access and functional needs, so we probably won't need to mess with that. Which ESF, RSF, and this goes to kind of pulling reports later. Which Lifeline, and then we can come in and say Meals on Wheels, and that is going to be the director, Sally Smith, at 1234 Main Street. She also has P.O. Box 3, any town, CC for the state, whatever it is, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These now match off of those county drop-downs that we had. These are Wyoming counties, and we'll just say that's in Region 2. You can fill in the phone numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right? You'd fill all that stuff in. Sally at meals.sally or whatnot. If you have other information here, we can put in again, social media stuff, the website. If there's a note that says, please only contact after 8 a.m., whatever the case, right? So we would go ahead and load this in. We can do the locking that we've shown you on other videos before, where we'll come in here and hit protect sheet. We're going to set permissions to the AFN tab. We're going to say that we want to, we can do two things. We can restrict to show a warning when somebody tries to edit that. That probably is not a great idea because you only want probably a data owner owning this information. So we'll go restricted and we'll go custom. And I'm going to add now maybe our front desk folks, right? Our admin folks that want to be able to access this. Maybe whoever we said was the owner of this. We're going to have access to this. We can do any of those sort of emails, put them in there, hit done, and now anyone else can view this information, right, in this tab, but they can't edit it. So you can't accidentally delete that. And we're just going to go ahead and delete this permission because it's not protected, right? You would protect it on your end after you put some information in there to customize it. We can do some copy paste if we've got other data out there from other sheets. We can kind of align the columns, paste it in here, and we can see how that there's lots of stuff, lots of categories here that we can go across. What it does now, the other thing to kind of keep in mind is a master sheet. So if you need to change something, let's say we're not calling it region, we're calling it zone. When you change that here, all these others now will say zone, right? So if there's some kind of a header information that you want to change out, this master sheet's where to do it. So long story short, you get your stuff populated, copy paste in, you can assign owners, you can send it out to, again, folks and say, hey, my old contact Rolodex, I can paste all that in here, send it and say, hey, please put yourself in. However you want to get that first data set updated will work just fine. We showed you in another video, and I'll link it in this feed, but you can essentially create this same thing in Google Forms. There's a video on that you'll be able to look at if you want. Link it so those form data information drop in here, and then put a little QR code information on your website, on your or email it out to all your partners. Put it on a flyer at whatever event. Put it on the sign-in sheet when you go to some kind of a conference, whatever makes sense to you. But that way folks can scan it, put in their information, update their information, and again, populate your list fairly quickly. You can do the copy paste of those drop downs, right? So when you have your Google form open and you selected, county as one of your questions, you could just copy that, paste it into the form, and now those will be in there as drop downs, right? So updating becomes kind of easy that way. Taking a little pause here for a minute, resetting, reshifting a little bit. You've got your data filled. All these are populated out. They've got all the information you want, all the information you need. You've got a way to update those things. Now what we're going to look at here are a couple of different things. This auto rollup, what it's going to do is it's going to pull in every piece of data that was put in there. So there's the Meals on Wheels, Director Sally Smith that we just put in. And similar to the other tools out there, you can see these are formulas, right? And we need to pull our demographic, our infographics, our summary stats, all that stuff off of a value, not a form. So what we're going to do, same as those other videos, we're going to go ahead and click this very first one that we want. And we're going to go all the way to the bottom, all the way to the right, holding Control Shift down and then left. Or again, you can just scroll all that if you wanted. We're going to copy it, Control C or right click, copy. It'll take a second because we're moving a massive amount of data. We'll see if we just froze my computer. There we go. Again, this is probably a once a quarter process, once a year process, where all we're doing is pulling the updates that populated into our forms back there into this other sheet. So now we would just come to where we want to copy it, and you can see there's a little bit of instructions there. Paste special, values only. And we'll go ahead and do that. And what we'll see here, we should see Sally down here, and there she is, right? Instead of a formula referencing back to some other place, she is now a value that's just a bit of text. The reason that matters, what we're going to be doing here is we can now, and we'll use this in a different video, but mail merging, we can do sorting, filtering, studio data if you want. That's another video for another time, or mapping data, and that'll be, again, another video for another time. But essentially, this puts everything into one-stop shopping, similar to what we were using the other ones for. So long story short, you've done your copy paste values, you've got your stuff all sorted in here, you've got 75 up to 75 contacts and access and functional needs across your entire jurisdiction. In this case, perhaps a state or a regional grouping or several counties or whatever it may be. Now, the cool part, since you referenced this, now they're all values, what we can do is come to these 4 kind of pinkish tabs, and we want to run just a regional report. So let's say we want to run region 2. We'll select that. The other thing we got to do, similar to those others, and there's again reminders here, we're going to change that 5 to a 2, hit go, and here's everyone that shows up with 2, right, in region 2, and there's Sally, right? And that would be everybody there. Then we can do the same filtering and sorting across those conditions to, again, organize our list, export it, import it, do whatever we would want to do. We can do the same kind of a thing with the county here. Let's say we want to look at Albany. And again, we're going to do that same thing we did earlier. In this case, we want it to say Albany. For some reason, once in a while, it pulls a weird first row. We're just going to go ahead and hide that. And there she is, Sally Smith, right? I do the same thing with ESF, RSF. We can pick, we want to just see all of our contacts in the energy sector. And we're going to say ESF 12, and this needs to match identical here, 12-energy. It's pulling in a bunch of blank lines, right? Because we've got 75 rows out there that all say energy. But nothing in them, right? Because we didn't populate that. You can do the same thing with lifelines, right? You guys kind of get the idea there. So long story short, we can do a lot of cool work with our data where we pull in the different, again, essentially a miniature phone book that you can print, do prints, or you can do, again, off of these, this copy and paste run report or the auto rollup. We can do some cool stuff where we can, where are we here? Download as, right, a CSV, and then we can import this list into our various contact information things, emails, phones, etc. And so do some cool stuff there. One thing I forgot to mention earlier on this updates tab, especially if you do the form, which we'd recommend, and you link it as they just populate in here. Once you copy and paste that row, so let's say we got a new sheriff in town, and it's got all of his information, her information across here. We would just select it, copy it, right? Go to the sheriff's tab down here, find that sheriff. Maybe it was Sheriff Smith, and now it's Sheriff Jones. We just copied it, right? And we're going to paste in, just paste it in, right? What we were talking about earlier. And now we've got that update. And then once it has been kind of updated over here, once you're past that initial bit, you can maybe do strikeout or delete or change the color or make it italics or something to denote that is complete. So long story short, a little bit of a heavy lift there at the beginning. But chances are once you've got it up and running, you're going to be in pretty good shape for just keeping it kind of maintained and being able to do a quick search. Like I said in another video, we'll come back and look at Google Studio. We'll also look at Google Maps and a couple other things that help you bring some more efficiency to this. Please feel free to subscribe if you like these tools and these products, and that'll be somewhere here. And then also you can see our other playlists for some of our other tools if you like this one. As always, thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you later. See ya.